Morning, everybody. 22nd of April, we are Signal Centre talking ball. Joe Neighbour, Ian Coleman, Steve O'Hare. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, all.
How are we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
good.
thanks.
Tired.
Good stuff. Tired? What was all that? Going out to the pub and all that sort of stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Wearing you out? All that
Running
painting?
around.
And calms are wearing me out.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You dosed up on those, are you?
yeah, they're pretty good actually. They're like a herbal thing, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's sort of like, yeah, you do sort of like sleep quite soundly. I notice the difference when I don't take them.
It's a placebo effect.
Yeah, maybe it could be. It could well be. I don't mind.
Whatever
I don't care.
happens.
I
Yeah,
don't care. I'll pay for
that. Ship them in.
Well, celebrating my 8R yesterday. Or was it only 3? Was it only 3?
Only 3, yeah, because you capped it at 3, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, personally, I took 8.
Did you?
No, because I didn't.
That's a shame.
I'm not mad enough to
So
get
you'd
involved in that.
have broken even on your buying it at 0 the day before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with a tight stop.
You can't open up any new positions in oil now, can you?
No, I tried this morning.
I
Yeah,
saw
it's
that
close only.
CMC and a few others had linked their oil contract to the December future, so it wasn't moving anywhere.
No, right.
And they charged, I think, a 220% overnight funding rate on it. So basically, just going to squeeze the fuck out.
If you were long,
in it.
if you were long, if you were short, you got paid, didn't you?
Right. Okay.
So
Still,
I had an email through yesterday. I mean, I'm not in it, but
so if you got short yesterday, when was sort of like said, oh, good potential for the oil to come off, and you can just sit there with your short position, can you?
Just get paid for holding it.
And yeah, just get paid for holding it.
Yeah, I think so.
Bloody hell.
It's not bad.
I'll have to find the email. I didn't really take much notes.
But I don't know why they've sort of like, obviously I know why they've done it. They're trying to sort of like trying to manipulate the market again. It's manipulating the markets. You just got to let the markets find their own value. And if these people have made millions out of, been long in the market for all these years, why are you stopping it now that they're losing money?
Yeah, turn the taps off. Now we're losing. Don't play that game anymore.
Yeah, it's just like the equity markets is all a bit of a fucking con.
It's all a fix, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? We're wasting our time with this shit.
Stick to FX. And then Bitcoin comes along. Fucking great. I saw a crypto backed by gold yesterday. I think that's quite an interesting one.
Yeah.
Because it's actually backed by something solid, not that this made up bit of paper or just pressing a button.
Paper, ether. Grab some coins. Okay, so yesterday we had 3 trades as we always do. Steve took the limelight with a 3R win on his oil short, and that hit target pretty quickly, didn't it? After after we posted that, and it's certainly overshadowed my 0.94R win on the FTSE, which
normally would be very happy with that.
Yeah, but can't compete with the 3R. And
I got wiped out super early.
Yeah, so a bit of a mixed bag, but overall it's looking very nice, and that takes us over the 80% mark.
Lovely.
That's a lovely upward trend there on that P&L graph.
Do we all get pissed when we get to 100% then? For a change?
Yeah,
I think so.
We'll cash in our chips when we get to 100%.
Yeah. Oh, double up.
It is real money we're doing it with, isn't it? No.
Not yet.
Oh well.
Well, we wanted to get a track record behind it.
Yeah, exactly. This is our track record.
Proof of concept.
Yeah, exactly. And then someone's going to come along and say, "Oh, I like what you're doing, guys. How much? How much for it?"
Yeah, they've all been called live. And
one day, Rodney.
Yeah, one day, Rodney. So, Steve, it's your honour. Have you got anything today, or would you like to pass it over to somebody else?
Yeah, actually, someone else have a go if they're ready. If not, I'll dive in. I just wanted to prepare myself a little bit better.
I'll have a go at cable, but I don't really like anything this morning. Shouldn't really say that, but decent sell-off, 161.8%. Is it a third wave higher? Euro sterling's moving to the downside, but I think that long term I'm going to show all my charts actually.
Don't give the holy grail away.
Confluence area, but I think we need to see a break over the swing high. Cable, further losses. Dollar Swiss, would like to sell into gains in a wedge. Dollar yen again. So there's not much at the moment that from current price levels where I can see value apart from this cable. I don't really like trading these pullbacks, but anyway, waffle over. So selling at 123.43. Oh, bugger. 120.25, and I'm going to have a 400 tick stop. AR.
Nice.
123.43, 123.83 stop, 120.25 target.
If you don't have these big targets, then you can't get the big targets.
Mm.
Steve, you got anything? I'm still struggling here. Do you want to have a
Yeah.
fucking
Obviously, yesterday,
US
what I
dollar
said,
turkey?
what I said yesterday, obviously, I said for the next 20 days, my trade idea will be to sell oil and
So what you can do?
make the money. But no, they've changed. They've moved the goalposts, haven't they?
Motherfuckers.
They moved the goalposts. I can't sell oil anymore. So I went on to the market this morning, tried to sell it. I can't sell it. Can't sell it. Taking our ball away. So anyway, just showing you oil. This is what happened yesterday. We sold it around about this time yesterday, 21.15, and within 2 hours, it hit. It hit $13. Spiked back up and then eventually made a low around $10. So that's going south. There's no question in my eyes. But obviously we've had this little recovery this morning where they put started to be talked about yesterday. Obviously, I had the rally up and it doesn't look as pretty. I sort of think maybe if we get an AB equals CD correction here, this is what I'm looking to do on the intraday trade for Signal Center. Looking to sell a rally. Depending
Nice.
what product you're on, either 17.30 on this product, I think it's currency, or on IG it's 16.50. I'm looking to sell it anyway. But the one thing I'm thinking is copper. I think copper's obviously was based on that move from oil yesterday, had a dreadful time, and it's had this sort of rally back, but there's no restriction on selling copper, so that's a bit better. Again, from the intraday trade, I'm looking at a little bit more conservative approach, looking to sell a bit more of a rally, thinking about the 230 level might act as a psychological barrier, but I'm also quite interested in this little potential head and shoulders. It's only on an hourly chart. So looking at either this as the right shoulder or the right shoulder already formed. So I'm going to set short in this because I'm bearish on this as well. It's trading 223.50, 223.50. Keep a pretty tight stop in it. And the target will be to 18.50. And I'm gonna stop at 225.
Cool.
There you go. It should be about 3.33 to 1 recurring.
Best of luck. I'm going to keep looking at indices. Still of the view, as I have been for the past few days, that there are bearish head and shoulders tops forming on a lot of them. This is the DAX. Yesterday we had this sell-off down, which got close to the neckline but didn't quite break it. We've had a bit of a recovery bounce up, but we've posted dojis over the last couple of hours, so possible sign of some indecision and potential reversal to take shape. Looking at the FTSE, uncharacteristically yesterday, this was holding up quite strong compared to the rest of the markets that I follow. So compared to the DAX, CAC, and the US markets as well. The NASDAQ had a real big sell-off yesterday ahead of the tech giants Tesla and Netflix both reporting, both of which Come up with some, I think, some impressive numbers, but missed on the EPS. So there was a bit of a turnaround in those. But I just think that there's probably more downside in these, particularly if these head and shoulders are going to break down. So it is speculative jumping on them now because they haven't completed. But if they, there's a potential for big moves if they do. So I think that's where I want to be playing for now. So I'm going to sell the DAX at current levels, which is 10,350. Going to place a stop above. So nice and tight, 50 ticks. My intraday analysis, I'm looking to sell much further up, sort of 61.8% recovery of this swing move lower. But I'm going to go for it on this, targeting the neckline at 10,170, so 3.75 R on the DAX. And I mean that really could extend quite sharply lower if it breaks. So you know what? There's no point in mucking about. Let's go even more. Got to be in it to win it. 7.6 R. If that comes in, moving that down to 9,985.
Good luck.
Charles, news-wise, anybody got anything that they want to bring to the table?
Not really.
No.
Wasn't a lot on my email this morning. Apart from Brent.
Yeah, I mean, everything. Well, I just wanted to touch upon that briefly. I mean, the amount of confusion that this must have created for new participants in the market with all these headlines knocking about saying oil's at minus this and, whatever. The reality is it was trading around about $20 a barrel because the contract had moved forward onto the next month. There was so much misinformation there that would have sucked a lot of people in and I think probably really hurt a lot of people financially, particularly retail traders.
Yeah, definitely.
Steve, you're on mute, mate.
I wondered why everyone was ignoring me. No, I completely agree. I think that there's people don't have that full understanding of what they're trading, and it's something that we've always talked about, and it's trying to provide education on straightforward, simple things, and also maybe more complex things like the oil market, how it works. So effectively, it's the main oil contract that's affected by all this is the WTI, the West Texas Intermediate. And it also has a knock-on effect to other markets as well, but it's mainly a US-based thing because basically they've carried on pumping and getting the oil out of the ground, but there's nowhere to put it now. And it's based around.
No one wants it.
No, it's based around Cushing, which is the central hub in America where they store the oil. And it was like 70. I was reading a thing now. There's no vacancy at Cushing at all. Mid-April, it was 70% full, and they've sort of found out that it's completely full. So you get the oil out of the ground. Where you're going to put it, you've got to put it somewhere. And I was thinking about it. It can't be as simple as just stopping drilling. Surely there's a huge process to go through to actually, because the oil gets pumped out, but maybe there's a huge process to actually stop that from coming out. Because I suppose they rely on a lot of pressure to get that oil out of the ground.
I don't know what sort of stimulus Trump's thinking about.
Yeah, I know. It's bizarre. We will never
bail out the industry. Is that what he's talking about?
We will never let the great US oil and gas industry down. I've instructed the Secretary of Energy and the Secretary of Treasury to formulate a plan which will make funds available so that these very important companies and jobs will be secured long into the future. I'm wondering if it's as far into the future as when we don't need oil. I don't know. Tell us, Trump.
Yeah.
How long are you going to do it for? Where are you going to get the money from? Or are you just going to press a magic button again?
There's a lot of prospectors and exploration companies that are, put together on hope in some instances where they're just drilling speculatively for oil. I mean, you can't be bailing those guys out, surely. If it's not there, it's not there. And certainly if no one wants it.
Well, that's it. Yeah. I mean, it's, around the world that you've still got Brent crude and
I mean, the shale boys must have gone.
No, they've got to be dead.
Oh, they
must have gone under months ago.
They don't exist anymore. Yeah, I don't think the word exists. I don't think anyone's mentioned the word shale.
So it did hit $10 a barrel on the June West Texas Intermediate yesterday.
Yeah.
Before a slight recovery, but again, you're going to get people jumping into spread betting accounts and CFD accounts trying to play it, but probably still unaware that the contract's been shifted to December and there's going to be no volatility in it now. It's just going to be nothing to trade, is there? Really, it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, I don't
tying
know.
up cash in it for long periods of time, hoping that it does something.
Yeah, it's all about the consumption, isn't it? So if it doesn't get consumed, it's going to go. The price will go lower, but then if you open up an account and you're not allowed to sell it, then you'll just stick your money somewhere else or waste it somewhere else.
Yeah, you can sell it, but no one's going to sell it at that price, are they? You know,
You can't actually sell it though, Joe.
Oh, can't you?
No, on Saxo,
you can only close out.
Right,
you can only close. So I can't actually physically get short
What's
like
the spread
yesterday.
like then? The spread must be massive, is it?
In which case, it's a dead market for traders, and it's just got to leave it alone.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you'll have speculators in there, you know, thinking, watching the news headlines, thinking, oh, there may be some good news coming out. Trump may come up with a plan that will sort of like rally it, but it'll be a dead cat bounce because at the end of the day, it's all about physical delivery. It's not a cash settled market like a lot of the markets that we look at.
Yeah.
So it's when it comes to physical delivery, it happened back in 2011 where a lot of the actual oil traders took delivery themselves of oil.
In their gardens.
Where did they put it?
Well, they were able to,
space.
the idea was they were going to store it at Cushing. Again, they ran into a bit of bother, but then it wasn't as bad as it is now. So because there was consumption was going on, so they only had to store it for a certain amount of time. And yeah, it's normally the markets like this when you've got this oversupply in the short term, it has that knock-on effect in the future price, because you have to have the cost of carrying it, holding it, delivering it. But as long as you've got the consumption, it's a short-term problem. But when you haven't got any consumption, which we haven't got at the moment because we're all locked down, then it's a major problem for that industry.
There was someone on Twitter saying yesterday, why don't they put oil in rectangular shaped drums, so then they'd be able to save 25% of the space.
Brilliant. Great idea. Well, why not?
Like that.
Okay.
Fill up the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Pipe it, that's the thing, just pipe it somewhere, but
oil reservoir
must be somewhere.
I don't think there's much else that we've seen that's worth noting. I mean, there was the ZEW number yesterday, which was horrific, but may have contributed to some of the selling yesterday that we saw in equities. Day ahead, we've got Canadian CPI at 130, Eurozone consumer confidence at 3, and we've got crude oil inventories at 330. But as I said, I don't think there's much you can do on that. But that pretty much rounds it up today. I don't think there's much else.
No.
Okay. Should we call it a day then?
Yep.
Lovely.
Let's call it Wednesday. I only drink on days beginning with T, by the way.
Oh, do you? I only drink
day
on
off.
days ending with day.
No, today.
Tomorrow.
Tuesday, Thursday, tomorrow, today, Saturday and Sunday. So
it's going to be 21 degrees in Essex today, so
get in
time in the garden.
What's it going to be up here? About 10 probably.
Who cares?
Hey.
If you can't get hold of me, just shout a bit louder.
I was right. 10.
Really?
10 degrees.
That's a massive
So
difference.
we have to move.
It's a big old
It goes
spread.
up to 16 this afternoon.
Okay.
Spawning.
Okay, lovely. All right, gents.
All right.
Great day. Speak to you
Cheers.
all tomorrow.
Yeah, have a good one. Bye.